All You Need to Know is brought to you by no one. No one at all.
Welcome to All You Need to Know, the show where you hear about everything and learn about nothing. Here are your hosts, Quinn Eaton and DJ Pig.
Welcome in to this episode of All You Need to Know. My name is Quinn Eaton, and I am happy to welcome back John Buchanan. John, how's it going?
Going well, Quinn. How about you?
I'm good, and for those that listened to episode 369 and are looking for more Kentucky golf courses to be ranked, you've come to the right place because this is the next step in our AY and 2K ranks the top 100 golf courses in Kentucky. I feel bad saying AY and 2K because really, John, you ranked the top 100 courses in Kentucky, but obviously the platform itself, we're putting the podcast out underneath the AY
Yeah.
and 2K umbrella. I'm being very clear. We did not come up, AY and 2K did not come up with this. John Buchanan came up with it. And you're just using AY and 2K as somewhat of a megaphone, if you will.
Yeah, you guys had the platform, the infrastructure, and it feels like a very AY and 2K kind of topic. So,
And I've got some feedback already. I've had people text and say, loving the first episode so far, excited to see where, my favorite course or a course that I've played, falls in the rankings. So people are tuned in, John. This is
oh yeah,
this is
oh,
a
definitely.
series, and I don't even know if All You Need to Know has done a series before. I believe we did a two-part episode one time with Ed Marlowe. Shout out to Ed Marlowe.
Shout out
Um,
Ed.
but I think that's the only time that we've done a two-part series. This is a three-part series. But obviously, today's episode is part two of the top 100 golf course rankings, which means we're going through courses 69 through 31. Is that correct, John?
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm excited to hear about all these courses and how you have them ranked and things like that. But obviously, we like to stay a little topical here at All You Need to Know. And I feel like, we would be letting down. Clearly, a golf crowd is tuning into these episodes. We've got to
Right.
talk about, just real quick, about the fact that Scotty Scheffler, before the Open, also known as the British Open, said that he doesn't really care, and I'm paraphrasing here, doesn't care about winning, doesn't care about golf, and he just cares about his family. Yet he went on to run away with the Open. John, your thoughts?
I can't really say I blame the guy for saying things like that. I too am very unsatisfied after playing golf at times.
Yeah, I hear
Uh,
that.
I don't think I've been super unsatisfied compiling this list. That's a lot of golf played during that. I did see something too where all of Scotty's major wins are by three or more shots.
Yeah,
So the guy just kind of has a way of really being good at golf.
it's a good way to put it there, John. And it's funny, and for people that are listening on audio, this part might be better for the video audience that's watching on YouTube. Go check out this episode on YouTube if you haven't. Scotty Scheffler looks pretty happy here. He's throwing his hat up in the air. This is courtesy of, let's just say, the Open. Throwing
Mm.
his hat up in the air, looks like a little bit of a fist pump, smiling. He's red with joy, which is rare, I guess.
It's,
Um,
you gotta look in the eyes, Quinn. I think that smile was fake. I think he was doing it for the cameras.
At the end of the day, though, I think what he was saying is that golf is work. Work isn't who he is. I think some people were really shocked, and it is shocking to hear, the best athlete in the world at golf say that he doesn't necessarily love or care about what he's doing. He cares about it. It was just an interesting monologue that he had. But just imagine Michael Jordan in the 90s saying, I don't really care that much about winning or basketball. That would be headlines for weeks. And then it's
Well, he
just,
kind of stopped caring for a little bit, and then
that's
he
true.
decided to care again.
That's true. Good point, John. But I think it's interesting that it just makes it funny that Scotty then went on to win the British Open in commanding fashion. But Scotty's on a hell of a run. And I wonder, I can't help but wonder as I was watching him work his way around the Open. Was it Royal Portrush, I believe,
Royal Portrush.
if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken. I just couldn't help but wonder if he's played any of these courses in Kentucky that we're talking about. Surely he has, and I
Well,
do hope that he has.
I tell you, there is one course on this list that held a few kind of higher level junior golf tournaments, and I've been told that Akshay Bhatia once played at one of the courses on this list. So
Okay, so Scotty could
uh,
have easily played at any of these.
could have easily, and
Okay.
other golfers that have probably played this list, like Kenny Perry,
Hmm.
maybe JT, maybe a little bit of JT,
Yep.
Emma Talley,
Right.
just for a few.
A great golfer in her own right. Yes. And on that note, as we're talking about golf courses that people could or could not have played, I can't think of a better time to jump into the let's just say the meat of this three-part series, right? Because if we're looking at this three-part series as a sandwich, you've got that thinner bun on the bottom that was last week's episode 369. And then you've
Hmm.
got the meat in the middle, which is this episode 370. And then you've got that beautiful, probably just a little crispy. They put it on the griddle bun at the
Hmm.
top. That'll be episode 371, where we finally reveal the top 30 courses
Yeah.
in Kentucky. But this is the sandwich part, or
Oh
this
yeah.
is the meat of the sandwich part of this three-part series. You ready to jump in, John?
Definitely ready to jump in.
Okay, well, this is episode 370. Today's topic: top 100 golf courses in Kentucky, 69 through 31. John, this is the part where I stop talking and you start talking.
Sounds like a tragedy.
Well, I
Um,
no, you did a great job last week, and I'm excited to hear you work through this list. And the good news is last week we worked through all of the extra things as far as the
mhm.
background
Yeah.
on how you came up with the list. And I would find it hard to imagine that someone would tune into this episode and not last week's, but just the synopsis for those that are tuning in that may have just skipped last week for some reason. You should go back and listen or watch it on YouTube if you skipped
100%.
it. But John has played all of these courses. He's ranked them himself. He's put together a color-coded ranking, and these are, in his opinion, and I so far I agree with him, and I think a lot of people probably would as well. The best golf courses in Kentucky, and we're working through each one by
Hmm.
one on this list. So we worked through some honorable mentions and 100 through 70 last week in
Yeah.
episode 369. So now we're picking back up where we left off. John, what is the 69th ranked golf course in Kentucky?
The 69th ranked golf course in Kentucky, already starting out with a little bit of controversy on this one, is Cole Park Golf Course in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, a
Okay.
6.8 out of 10.
And it would have been, not to critique your list here, John, but it could have been a 6.9, and that would have been convenient, right, for where it falls on the rankings.
Would have been convenient, would have been nice. The contentious part about Cole Park is that it is located in Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
For those of you that are not familiar with the Kentucky-Tennessee state line and the various things that go on that line, Fort Campbell is an Army base that is split by Kentucky and Tennessee. Quinn's got pictures of it up now on the Zoom call being shared. They
Ooh,
do have a
there's
nice clubhouse.
there's
Yeah,
an
that's their
ominous one
clubhouse.
with a storm off in the distance. That's
It
always
did. The base was hit by an F3 tornado not too long ago.
goodness.
Um,
Okay.
Technically, the golf course itself is on the Tennessee side of the border,
I see the
but it's
controversy here.
on base, and the Fort Campbell base has a Kentucky uh, postal office.
And that's
So
all you need to know right there.
it's all you need to know. Moving on, number 68, Ben Haas Golf Course in Owensboro, another
Okay.
6.8 out of 10. I believe this is indeed a Muni course. It's one of the better ones.
I just
One of the
played a
better
muni
ones.
course. Not, I mean, I know this is a Kentucky golf course ranking. I just played a muni course this past weekend in Tennessee called Harpeth Hills Golf Course. And wow, I was impressed in the Nashville area. If you're ever in there, I know I'm not trying to hijack your list here, John, but I'm just saying I played a Muni, and I think a lot of times Munis get a bad rap, but sometimes there's a diamond in the rough, and I think I found one in Nashville. But go on, Ben Hawes Golf Course, Owensboro, 6.8 out of 10. Anything else?
Hitting really big on the Nashville transplant there. It's good for
Yes.
you.
Sorry.
Nothing else from Ben Hawes. Number 67, a very fun one to talk about. The
Yes.
last of our golf courses below a seven ranking is Miller Memorial Golf Course in Murray, 6.9 out of 10.
Miller Memorial Golf Course, also known as Milla. Uh, Shout out Coach Hunt, Eddie Hunt, if he's out there listening.
Yeah,
That's how I came to know Miller Memorial Golf Course. This one hits home for both of us, John.
indeed it does. For those of you that don't know, Miller Memorial Golf Course is the home golf course of the Murray State Racers men's and women's golf teams. Uh, an interesting track, to say the least. Never was really in peak condition at any time during me and Quinn's career. It kind of got close to getting there towards the end of our time there, and I'm sure nowadays the fantastic agronomy team out there has done so much great work. But it will forever be in my eyes uh, average, kind of fun if you don't care about your score, and you're gonna get Millard. So just be happy that you're playing
Yeah.
golf.
Well, and you and I looped around that course plenty of times. So I think that a golf course is fun to a certain extent as once you play it enough times, there's a monotony that comes from
Hmm.
it. And I believe that we had some Miller monotony if I could trademark that.
Indeed.
It's not a terrible course.
Hmm.
It's advertised. I don't know if it's still advertised as Western Kentucky's finest golf destination.
I believe
I
it is.
I don't know if that is true. I don't know if that's a self-proclaimed thing or if there's any sort of voting that happened.
I'm not sure.
And it's a
Yeah.
quirky one of those courses where the front and the back are completely different.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
usually in good enough shape. The greens are grainy as hell. But if
Yeah.
you haven't ever played it, go play it just to see where the racers play, right, John?
Oh yeah. Just it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Moving straight on then to number 66, we have the Quail Chase Golf Club in Louisville, a 7 out of 10. One of the city park courses, I believe one of the best of them. So
Okay.
uh, it did not impressive, but did very well. And I do kind of want to stress in terms of the list, 5 to 6 is your mid courses. If it's anything above a 6.5, I would say go play it. You're gonna have fun anyway. I just kind of want to put that out.
Yeah.
The distinction between like the sixes and the sevens is that if someone wanted me to go and play a six with them, sure, I'm not gonna go out of my way. Some of these sevens, if they're close, I'd probably go play them.
Yes, and I want to note that, for the people that are listening or watching, you're not seeing the list. John and I are looking at the list right now, and the color coding has switched in between Miller Memorial and Quail Chase, and that's just because you moved from the 6 range to the 7 range, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
On into 65, we have Perry Park Golf Resort in Perry Park, another 7 out of 10. Perry Park is kind of in the middle of nowhere near northwesternish Kentucky.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard
Uh,
of it, John.
there's three 9-hole courses. You can do a stay and play as many as you want, from what I gather. Uh, kind of middling still. 64, the Woodford Club in Versailles, another 7 out of 10. Looking at the list now, I say I have a lot of 7 out of 10s. I feel like to me, seven is the epitome of hey, this is nice, I have it. That's it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of emotion behind it.
And I'm looking at this one picture of it that I just pulled up. Is it a tree-lined course? Is it one that you have to keep between the trees, or is this just one hole?
Kind of sort of. There are a few holes that are more open than that, and then I don't remember what hole that is. I do remember their first hole is like a par five, but the approach shot is super narrow. It was really
Okay.
where you could hit it anywhere off the tee, but the approach shot was really narrow.
Just real quick, how do you feel about back-to-back par fives on a golf course? Do you mind that?
I don't hate it. It's just if you're gonna pull that kind of gimmick, you have to be smart about it
Yeah.
and be kind of creative, right? We're getting back-to-back holes.
I'd rather have a
Of course, golf.
back-to-back par five than a back-to-back par three.
I certainly would too. I have
Yeah.
seen courses that did just that very thing, back-to-back par five and then back-to-back par three immediately
Interesting.
after.
Yeah,
Very
I don't know
weird.
about
Yeah.
that.
Number 63, the Houston Oaks Golf Course in Paris, another 7 out of 10. Only thing I remember about this place significant is that their greens were pretty small,
Okay.
but they were good. Number 62 of Tate's Creek Golf Course in Lexington, another 7 out of 10. City Park course. It's really, nothing needs a municipal golf course. None of them are ever going to be in great shape. This is just a place where you can kind of dink it around, hit a bunch of wedges, and have some fun.
And let me ask you a question, and this might be dumb. Does Tate's Creek run through Tate's Creek Golf Course?
It gets pert near it, It's pretty near it and pretty close. I think it gets close.
Does
I
it
don't
come
think it
into
runs through.
play? Is this Tate's Creek? Or is this just a
It
pond?
might be. It's a pond in front of the 17th green,
Okay.
but I do believe it drains out into perhaps a creek.
Man, some of these pictures are terrible that I'm pulling up. I apologize. I'll just get
Yeah,
out
they
of
didn't
that.
put a large enough file size on
No.
there. It's really unfortunate.
Anyways, keep going, John. You're
Yeah.
doing great.
Number 61, the Lincoln Homestead Golf Course in Springfield, another 7 out of 10. It's actually a little bit outside of Springfield because it's a part of, I think it's the Abraham Lincoln State Park. I don't
Ah,
really know. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere. He was
so
born nearby.
this is Honest Abe's home course. He played this one, is what you're saying, is
Yeah,
what you're telling me.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it was built until like 1963, but
Okay.
it's fine.
But he would have been proud of it.
He would have been proud.
Yeah.
Uh, Number 60, Doe Valley Golf Club in Brandenburg, another 7 out of 10. This was a golf course that I had to strain to remember that I had played it because it was a course I played one time in a high school tournament. I can't even remember which hole that is, but I remember playing that hole,
Big ass green, it looks like.
Yeah, it was it's kind of in like a lake community, like there's a Doe
Okay.
Valley Lake nearby, and it's kind of weaving through a neighborhood, but it's still super forgiving, right?
Yeah.
And so and
That's
it
what
had
I'm
a good
looking for.
layout. It looked nice, like tree line course, but I can still kind of hit driver.
Yeah.
That's really what you like, and it was in decent condition.
I honestly hate a course that goes through a neighborhood that's super tight.
Oh, it's the worst.
I don't know of anybody who likes that except for
Mm-hmm.
people who like hitting, 6 iron off the tee box.
The thing about, and again, I go back to that one high school tournament I played. I'm in high school. I'm not the one driving the car. I think my mom drove me out there, and it's like a
Sure.
three
Yeah.
hour drive.
Hmm.
So I slept for most of it. Woke up and I'm at a golf course. I go play. I was doing really good, and then like I bogeyed a couple holes coming in, and like I was like throwing a fix. I thought I ended up not placing, and then and got like 15th or something. Turns out I won the tournament somehow.
That's
And
funny.
Carson Holmes, shout out Carson Holmes, he got second behind me, and both of us thought we played bad that day. But I could never remember where the golf course was. I could just remember the name of the tournament and that I
Right.
had played golf. And so for the longest time, I thought this was a golf course in Bowling Green, but no, it was in Brandenburg.
Well,
Uh,
and it's good to know that you have an emotional connection to that, and that everyone knows about that emotional connection now. That's the beauty of going through this list.
oh
That's
yeah,
what that is.
there's a lot of emotions in this. Number 59, Madisonville Country Club in Madisonville, 7 out of 10. Another track that's fun, could be a lot better. It's decent.
Got some pictures real quick, John. I just want to pull these up.
Hmm.
I remember this little bridge that goes
Yeah.
across
It's the
to
par five
numbers.
15th.
This says number 6, but could
Oh, they
be.
must have changed the nines,
Yeah, maybe they
actually.
did. And
Yeah.
then this looks like a view of the 12th hole
Hmm.
at Madisonville Country Club. And look, John, look at this. There's a scorecard.
Indeed. Look at that.
And so that's the first scorecard that we've shown in this series so far. It looks like it tips out at 6,500 yards, which is not very long, but
Longer
uh,
than I remember playing it.
yeah,
Yeah. Number 58, the Bridges of Henderson in Henderson, another 7 out of 10. I didn't know this course existed until
Okay.
I looked at maps and I played it. I thought the layout was interesting because it kind of wasn't in the best shape, but
Hmm.
I thought it was kind of fun golf. So there you go.
Good take. Good simple
Yeah.
take, John.
Number 57, Benton Golf and Country Club in Benton.
All
Another
right.
7 out of 10.
I'm gonna need to hear more on this one because personally, I'm not a huge fan of Benton Country Club, Benton Golf and
Hmm.
Country Club. But you have put it in the 7 range, which means that you would, if someone asked you to go play it, you would play it, right?
Hmm. It does.
And I've got a picture here of the first hole, which I think is just an absurd hole where you can drive the green and you can't see it. I think that's
Hmm.
dangerous. Um, and then I believe that's number 4 at Benton Country Club, shot like from the green back towards the fairway.
Hmm.
And then that's just a view of a hole at Benton Golf and Country Club, and
It sure
I
is.
think it's number 5, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. It's another course though where they obviously built the front and it was just the front, and then they
Hmm.
built the back and it's completely different. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you rank that. Do you like the fact? Does that count into the fun factor? You feel like you're getting two different courses in one?
Well, there is another course on the list that's similar to that, and I believe we'll get to it this episode.
Okay,
Um, I think, it's part of kind of like we talked like last episode. As time progresses, things change, and if you're not changing, you're getting left behind, right?
sure.
I
I
kind
like
of I
that.
love the old school country clubs that were originally a 9 hole and then said, "Hey, we've got the land and there's a lot of attention around golf. Let's add another nine and make this
Okay.
our thing." I think
And
it's
I get
fun,
that.
and I think Benton does well with the type of grass they're using, the agronomy. I like the fairways. I like the greens. The greens didn't roll great, but they were smooth. They just weren't
They do
fast.
keep them pretty smooth
Um,
typically, yeah.
it's another layout where there's a lot of tree line shots, but it's still forgiving. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate the element of challenge
You hit
if
it
you're
into
not hitting it on line, but
into another fairway, then you
you
hit it
can still
back.
have your dinky misses, and
Hmm.
again, you can get away with the big ones every now and again. Um, I don't know. The layout was a bit confusing here and there. There are a couple holes that crisscross in weird ways.
Yeah.
Kind of a detractor there, and then I get the feeling it's never in tip-top shape, right? So
Maybe
it's hard
not.
to give it more credit than the
But
seven.
hey,
But
I think if Benton Golf and Country Club, excuse me, gets wind that it is in the top 60 courses in Kentucky, I think they would fist pump about that.
they
That's all
just
I'll
might.
say.
They just might.
What's next,
Uh,
Sean?
Number 56, the Twin Oaks and Magnolia Room in
Okay.
Covington. I'm not sure if because it's a Magnolia Room because it's also another golf course that has an event space, and
Mm,
so I'm not sure if it's Twin Oaks and Magnolia Room as the main name, and then you can play the Twin Oaks golf course at the Magnolia Room. I'm not sure what the thing is, so
yeah,
I
I'm
just
not
went
sure
with
either.
the name that pops up online. I give that one a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay.
The elevation is just like a little bit nicer on the amenities, a little bit nicer on the care of the course. Maybe this is starting to get into that territory where you might think about a little bit more kind of serious golf instead of just having a good time
Right.
potential. Number 55, the Rolling Hills Golf Course in Russellville, 7.2 out of 10. Played this course a lot in high school. I always had fun, even if I didn't shoot a good score.
And not to be confused with another course by a similar name, correct? That I don't know if that will come up on the list or not. Rolling Hills Golf
Country Club?
Country Club.
Yeah, we already
Question
discussed
mark?
that in the previous
Okay,
episode.
sorry, my memory serves me wrong there. So two different rolling hills, but the one that's not near the Paducah area is higher on the list. Just to be clear.
Yes. Number 54, Eagle Creek Golf Course in LaGrange, a 7.3 out of 10. Another golf course where it was more fun to play, but I could definitely see like if I had a high school tournament out there,
Hmm.
or maybe like a regional junior tour, that'd probably be a good course to take those kids out and let them compete, a little bit. It's got a little bit more nuance to it.
Hmm.
Number 53, the Pennyrile Park Golf Course in Dawson Springs, a 7.4 out of 10. This was the other course I mentioned that was very obviously at one point only a nine-hole course. I believe it's on their website that it was indeed originally a nine-hole.
Is it a
Eventually
state?
added another.
Is it a
It is a
state
state park.
park?
It is
Okay.
a state park course. Eventually added another nine, back nine some years later. Completely different nines.
Mm.
Another course I played frequently in high school. I find myself going back out there from time to time because it is just a decent track to
And
play.
and those
And the
watching on
back nine makes
YouTube,
it all worth it.
just a random man hitting a tee shot on Pennyroyal Forest State Park golf course.
Hmm.
Looks like we've got a beautiful, large, some, I don't know, I'm not good with tree names, but a beautiful tree behind a very well-kept green there.
Hmm.
Um, and then the caption for this one, a sunny day uh,
Indeed, it is.
at Pennyroyal Forest State Park. Every day is a sunny day at Pennyroyal, right, John?
It sure seems that way.
Hmm.
Number 52, the Shelbyville Country Club in Shelbyville, another 7.4 out of 10. I wanted to like this place more, but the layout got pretty quirky in some areas and kind of held me
Yep,
back.
that's a
So,
thumbs down. Quirky layout
mhm.
hurts.
Number 51, Pendleton Hills Golf Course in Butler, 7.4 out of 10. This place was nice all around. It had the look, down pat. Uh, Clubhouse and golf cart weren't anything to write home about, but they were nice. Cart paths were nice. The layout was kind of boring, but still worked because there were some hills. Just really tricky greens to interpret, and some of the lies in the fairway was a little bit fluffy. Could just present an element of uncertainty.
Hitting some flyers. Yeah, don't want a fluffy lie. Now, somewhat fluffy lie is good, but too
Mm-hmm.
fluffy of a lie, you don't want that. Um, and this one has an interesting name. This next one that I'm excited to hear about.
Hmm.
I'll let you get into it.
Number 50, the Charlie Vettner Golf Course in Louisville, 7.4 out of 10. Another city park golf course.
I do this a lot, John. This might not be a picture of the golf course, and it's a fuzzy one. Anyways, is that the course that we're talking about?
I want to
Probably.
say no.
Okay. Well, then just disregard it. Just
Yeah, that
disregard it.
looks that looked like
It
a
almost looks like a painting. I might have been
yeah.
fooled there. I'm not entirely sure.
No, Charlie Vettner didn't really look like that. It
Okay.
was a good layout. They had good grass out there. It had just always your fairways, bent greens, just a really nice look to a
Hmm.
golf course. It's a city course again. They're not getting all the funding that they could
Sure.
need to make it a
So
great
you
golf
wouldn't
course
say that
yet.
it looks like a painting of any kind.
I don't think it looked like that
No one
painting.
would paint it. Okay,
I don't
good,
know. Well,
good.
I could see some people painting it. I just don't think it looked like that.
Yeah. Well, moving right along then.
Breaking the top 50 now. Number 49, the Oaks of London Country Club in London, 7.5 out of 10. Another course I had to strain to remember that I'd played it in junior golf. The issue with this one is that when I played it, it was known as Crooked Creek Country Club.
A little name change.
I believe what happened is at some point, either following COVID or a little bit post-COVID, they shut down the course, probably did some new greens or maybe some resodding or something like that. It was closed for a period and then has since reopened to be the Oaks of London Country Club.
Right.
And the golf course is back out there. And I've gathered all of that from Google Earth images. You can scroll back in the past and see kind of what it looked like through the years. Um, Fun course. The junior golf tournament I played in, I won second. Yeah,
There
I
you
don't
go.
guess you can win second. I guess you just didn't get first.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and John, what would you say to people that are listening that are saying, "Oh, well, this guy only liked this course because he either played well in a tournament or won a tournament there."
um, go play the golf course and you can see why I gave it that rating.
Good. Good.
Uh,
Shut it
I
down.
gave Charlie Vettner a similar score. Didn't play great out there.
Perfect.
Still thought it was worthy of 7.4. There's plenty of courses on here where I've played a lot of bad golf.
Way to shut down the haters, John.
Oh yes. Moving on to number 48, we have Kentucky Dam Village in Calvert City.
The
Another
dam.
7.5 out of 10.
And I would say this
Uh,
is their signature hole that I just pulled up on the
it could
YouTube.
be. I feel like they could have, maybe two or three signature holes. There's a few really, really interesting ones out there. And even the hole following the picture of that hole is an interesting one. Another place where you can, hit big drives. Everyone likes to do that. Hit bombs.
The only thing I will say about Kentucky Dam Village Golf Course is if you're that close to the Kentucky Lake and you don't have any holes viewing the Kentucky Lake, I feel like that's an issue. But I know it's not right on the lake,
Mhm.
so maybe that's where they ran into some trouble there. But
My hang up is that they have it in the name, but you can't even see the dam. What's that
I
about?
think that that's a good critique as well. And maybe that's why it didn't end up higher on the list. I think that that's fair to
Uh,
say.
yeah, and I think it is a couple of the quirkier holes that are very tricky for golfers of all levels. And then also the fact that it's never in astounding shape. But again,
Yeah.
another state park course.
Well,
So
and in this picture it was in astounding shape. And this is I just happened to find the picture of the hole that was right after the one that we just showed.
indeed,
This is an interesting par five. I like this one. And it's
much
beautiful. I
fun.
mean, all the pine
This
trees,
is
a lot of
yeah,
pine trees at Kentucky Dam. They really planned out the pines, if you will.
they did. Yeah, I'm sure that was the park's intent and no one else's.
Hmm.
Number 47, we have Kenny Perry's Country Creek Golf Club in Franklin. Another 7.5 out
KP.
of 10. Quite the mouthful. I thought it was pretty interesting and fun layout. Good grasses, a mix of bent and bluegrass out
Hmm.
there. Um, Mostly a place where you're just going to have a really good time, but you could in fact play some halfway decent tournaments out there too, I think.
I think I've played that one before. It's been a long time though.
Hmm.
And another, like, if you're going to name it Kenny Perry's Country Creek Golf Club, I better see Kenny Perry, just like the Kentucky Dam. If the dam's in the name, you better
Yeah.
see it.
When I was there, someone said, "Oh, you just missed him. He just went out the back." So
Oh,
I don't
they
know if that's a gimmick they're
they
running
say
or
that all the time, I'm sure. Oh, Kenny Perry, he just went out the back. What is that even supposed to mean?
who knows. Number 46, Shady Hollow Golf Course in Cub Run, 7.5 out of 10. If you don't know where Cub Run is, it's like just north of Mammoth Cave, kind of near Nolan River Lake, just kind of like smack dab in the middle of the state. Um, I just want to mention that the reason this course is so high is simply because it may be the most fun course to play on the list.
Is that a hole at Shady Hollow,
That
John?
is a hole at Shady Hollow.
Looks beautiful.
It is awesome. It's fantastic.
You know, sometimes I get lucky with these pictures and sometimes I don't. So,
Yeah.
but I think
I
people
would
get
say
the
that
gist.
that's their signature hole.
Yeah.
There are a lot of holes out there where it's just standing on the tee, you can kind of just hit a quirky, weird shot. You can hit a 3 iron or you can hit a bunt driver. You can hit your hybrid or you can hit a six. There's just a world of options to just have the best round you can out there or to just whack it around and not really care what happens, right? It
Hmm.
was just it was strictly on the fun factor, really taken away on this one. Everything else was very middling in terms of quality, uh, but just an awesome, awesome place to go play. Number 45, Calvert City Country Club in Calvert City. Another 7.5 out of 10.
Calvert City Golf and Country Club, John. I will correct you there. And I just threw up on, if you're watching this podcast, I just threw up a picture of the beautiful and slightly dated Calvert City Golf and Country Club clubhouse.
Only a little
I've
bit.
the pro shop is down in the basement of the building, which seems odd. Typically, you go into a clubhouse, it's got a little bit of a view of the course. Not the case here at Calvert City Golf and Country Club, but they make up for it with a beautiful course. And I mean, I'm not trying to take over here, John. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But Zoysia fairways used to be not bent grass greens. I don't know what I'm trying to think of here, but they switched to Champions, or maybe they were bent and they switched to Champions Bermuda, I believe.
Mhm.
And I remember playing. This is my home course. I played here as a kid. I've played Calvert City Country Club, Golf and Country Club, 100 times and more. And I remember that summer when they switched over the greens, and they were temporary for a summer. I remember that. There's a little rainbow over number 18, beautiful right there.
Mhm. I think you did everything you needed to right there.
Okay, it's always in great shape. They do such a good job taking care of it. They have had some issues with flooding recently, but it always
Hmm.
dries out pretty quick. And they've also cut down a lot of trees, which I feel like has kind of taken away from some of the holes, but still a stellar golf course, I think. And
It's
there's so many
it's
fun holes, and there's a good mixture of challenging holes
yeah,
and straightforward holes. I'm partial to this one though, just because I grew up playing it.
it's a solid place. Number 44, just up the road from Calvert City, Drake Creek Golf Course in Ledbetter. 7.5 out of 10. Ledbetter is not an actual city. It is just a census designated place and is yet the most highly populated portion of Livingston County. So fun fact there.
Thanks for that,
Yeah.
John. Let me
Number,
hold
oh,
on. Let me get
you
it.
want to talk about
Yeah,
you want to talk about
well,
Drake?
I don't have much to say. I never traditionally played at it or played very well at Drake Creek, but it's definitely got a signature hole coming up on 18, a little bit of a par
Absolutely.
four where you're hitting into I'm saying this is as a compliment, a toilet bowl, if you will,
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
green is right there at the bottom. Um, some very picturesque holes out of Drake Creek,
Oh, definitely.
and they typically keep it in pretty good shape as well.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, another course that has problems with flooding sometimes, but
Yeah.
it is right on the Ohio River.
Mhm.
Uh, Number 43, Glen Oaks Country Club in Prospect, 7.6 out of 10. Uh, Used to be a private club, now they've opened it up to some public tee times.
Okay.
Uh, was in The layout was awesome. Layout was perfect. Design was very well thought of. Some quirky holes where you have to have previous knowledge, but not so much that it was egregious. Um, Good greens, even though they weren't in best condition, they still rolled really well. Uh, just kind of rough around the edges. So fun track. Going into number 42, Hickory Sticks Golf Course in California, Kentucky, 7.6 out of 10. Um, this one was really busy when I played it, and I understand why. It's a pretty nice track. Uh, a lot of hills and up and down shots. It can be challenged, but it is kind of a little bit easier too. I thought it was a pretty good course.
I think people will be surprised to know that there is a California, Kentucky.
There is indeed a California, Kentucky.
I just looked it up. Population 81, maybe 83, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. So not a
And really,
lot.
it's not located in the city. It's
Okay,
just the closest postal office, I think,
sure.
something like that.
We're talking a lot of postal offices, but that's fine. I guess that
Yeah,
those are good
yeah.
distinctions.
They help sometimes.
Hmm.
Number 41, Canewood Golf Course in Georgetown, a 7.7 out of 10. This one does run through another neighborhood and it is narrow in spots, but not so much that you're going crazy. You can always kind of lay back on those holes. They're not
Okay.
super demanding off the tee. Uh, at 40, getting down to the bottom here of this episode, we have
Yeah.
Battlefield Golf Club in Richmond, 7.7 out of 10. Uh, I think it's called Battlefield Golf Club because it's in Battlefield Park, and
Okay.
maybe there was like a Civil War battlefield there. I don't know. Uh,
That's
I wasn't
interesting.
I wasn't expecting this one to be super good, but I was pleasantly surprised and had a good time out there.
And there are a lot of Battlefield golf clubs from what I'm seeing. So
Hmm.
I'm going to choose to not put any images up because I can't confirm whether or not it's the one in
Yeah.
Kentucky. But
It's
an interesting
very,
name, a very interesting name
yeah,
for a golf course.
very, generic in a certain way.
Hmm.
Another generic name for a golf course, Lakeside Golf Course in Lexington, a 7.7 out of 10. Another city course. This one is getting into that territory of being a golf course that could host high-end high school junior tournaments.
Okay.
Just good track, good challenge, but you can still have a good time out there, right?
Is there a lake?
There is indeed a lake. It's
Okay.
really only in play for like one hole though.
But
So
at least it's lakeside, technically.
it is lakeside indeed.
I like that.
Uh, Number 40, no, excuse me, number 38, Bowling Green Country Club in Bowling Green, a 7.7 out of 10. The infamous host site of the KHSAA state golf tournament
That's
every
right.
year. Not sure how long that contract is for. Seems like it will be forever.
And it's a beautiful golf course. It is a challenging golf course, without a doubt. I will
Hmm.
put up, let me throw up a picture here of the first hole. Very
Not
intimidating,
not
very
a
in,
fun first tee shot by
very
any
intimidating
means.
first hole. If you're looking on YouTube, your landing area is right here where this pesky little pond sits.
Hmm.
And then you've got if you lay back, then you've got a long shot into the green. If you test, the fairway, it gets tighter and tighter as it gets
Oh
closer,
yeah,
to the dance floor.
yeah,
And so very hard. All I remember is that tee shot, would keep me up at night thinking about it if I
yeah,
was playing at Bowling Green Country Club the next
yeah.
day,
The one year that I did play in the state championship, I remember uh, I was listening to Waka Flocka on the putting green before my tee time.
as one does.
Uh,
Yes.
got up, hit a good first tee shot. Didn't hit a great second, was short of the green. Chipped in for birdie.
Okay.
Number two is another kind of intimidating par five, out of bounds,
Hmm.
all down the right side.
And you
Just
got to
blow it way
walk.
left. Got to walk.
You got to walk back to the tee.
Blow it
You got
way
a lot to
left
think
off the
about.
tee. Hit a long iron. I don't remember if I hit the green or if I was short of the green. I made another birdie. So I was 2 under through my first two holes at the state championship. I think my name was at the top of the leaderboard
Wow.
for a brief minute. And then everything went straight downhill from there.
Hmm.
Did manage to make the cut, so that was a positive.
That is a positive.
Number 37, Henderson Country Club in Henderson, Kentucky.
Okay.
7.9 out of 10. Another course I played frequently in high school, played a lot of qualifiers out there. Another golf course with an interesting first tee, first
Hmm.
tee shot, interesting hole. Uh, I remember there being a lot of quirky holes out here and kind of it being that classic country club design of this is kind of weird. Uh, but I also always remember it being in pretty good shape and being a pretty good challenge.
In the University Club at Arlington, that implies that a university plays there.
It would indeed.
Is it Eastern Kentucky?
Yes, number 36, the University of Club at Arlington in Richmond, 8 out of 10. It is indeed the home of Eastern Kentucky University.
Yes.
Uh, I forget what their mascot is, golf.
The Colonels,
I think it's the
maybe?
Colonels, yeah.
I think I've played this course. If I remember correct. Oh yeah, yeah, I've played this course. Oh my
Yeah, it's a nice
goodness.
course. Zoysia fairways, bent greens, kind of a fun layout. Uh,
Let me try
the
to let
I
me try
think
to
it's
throw a picture
the
up here.
11th hole is a par five. That is unfortunate. The whole fairway slants right to left, and you really can't hit the fairway.
Right. And
So,
what I'm throwing up is a par three that you played later on the back nine.
hmm
It might be 16 if I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
16. Yeah.
And it looks like this picture is showing them maybe redoing the cart path or something like that.
hmm
But if you can see, you're teeing off from up here and you're hitting down to a raised green that it has water and everything slopes towards the water basically
hmm
around it. And it's not, if I remember correctly, not that long of a hole, but
No.
it's the visual of it that
Oh
is
yeah.
the tough
It's
part. It makes it a difficult par three.
yeah.
And listen, I know we haven't talked about like golf preferences, but I love a challenging par three, that's around 150 to 180 yards. Once you
Yeah.
start getting into the 200 plus yard par
hmm
threes, I think that's kind of silly. I don't know how you
And,
feel about
and
that.
it's the thing you notice about most par threes is that the shorter ones will have more of the penalty area, more bunkering, more undulating green, and the long ones are just long.
Right.
Take uh the hole at Oakmont, I forget which number it is. 300,
280
300
yards or something.
yards,
Yeah.
300 yards, but it's basically just a 300 yard par four. The green is
Yeah.
massive. The green's absolutely huge, so no wonder those guys actually didn't do too bad there. But then you look
Hmm.
at LACC a few years ago where they had a par three that was under 100 yards.
Right.
Uh, naturally, those guys are pros. They played it pretty well, even though the pin was in a ridiculous spot on that green. I'll kind of want to do a little bit of a twofer here for
That's
numbers
fine.
34 and 35. The UK club, they have two golf courses, the Big Blue and the Wildcat in Lexington. 8 out of 10, the home of University of Kentucky Wildcats, men's and women's golf teams. Um, Giving them an 8 because they do stay in pretty good condition. Both courses do have a pretty good layout. The Big Blue, I would say, is the more challenging, maybe somewhat nicer in that respect of the two courses. But being that they're the same complex, I feel that they deserve to have the same score.
And I think that makes sense. Interchangeable, same facilities, things
Hmm.
like that. I think this is the Wildcat, um, and they're beautiful, beautiful golf courses.
Oh, yes.
Very well kept. Obviously, it's a university. Now that's, that always happens, John. I start trying to show
Hmm.
pictures and then there's a bad
Yes.
picture. But it's a beautiful course. And I'm not, listen,
It
I'm
is.
not a
Yeah.
Kentucky fan, but I will give them credit. They know how to run a golf course.
Yeah. An 8 out of 10 is a high score. I do
That
find
is.
myself going out to the UK club to play golf because I know I'm going to get a little bit higher standard of a golf course.
Hmm.
I wish they could be higher. I think there's potential for them to be higher, but anytime I've gone to play there, I've never felt like they've met the standard that the University of Kentucky usually gives to its other programs
Yeah.
and other activities, right?
Hmm.
There's
I
always
hear you.
a little bit of eating up on the greens, a little bit of bareness in the fairways. I've never had a great reaction with staff there. I've never had a bad
Okay.
one, but some places they'll be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Can I get you anything else? Bathrooms are over there." Don't get that there. They
You're
kind of just
saying
run it.
you're saying the UK club is transactional. They're not trying to
UK
make
club is
friends.
very transactional. It felt like I just expect more of an experience from an organization that holds itself in such esteem.
Yet they still fall in the top 35, technically,
They do. They
of
do.
courses in Kentucky. And you mentioned this a second ago. We're getting down to the bottom of today's episode where, we're just getting to 31. So that means we have
Hmm.
number 33, number 32, and number 31. And then we
Yes,
stop until
that's
next
it.
week.
Indeed. Speaking of which, number 33, Boots Randolph Golf Course in Cadiz, another 8 out of 10. This is another state park course, Lake Barkley State Park. Boots Randolph, a very famous musician in his day,
Yes.
appeared on quite a few hits with various artists such as Elvis Presley. If you ever listen to, I think, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, I believe he's on a recording of that somewhere. Um, Another golf course I played a ton in high school, and
And Boots, he laid out this course. He drew it on a map. He said, "This is
yeah,
how I want this course to look."
and you can
Um,
look at it, it looks eerily similar to musical notes.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
point out. And now this is kind of like art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you go out to Boots and you don't see the music notes, that just means that you don't understand music. You have to
Hmm.
know music in order to recognize the notes that are within Boots Randolph. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful course. Now it is a little bit, it's a drive. I don't think
Hmm.
Boots Randolph golf course is close to necessarily
It's
anything.
it's really
Um,
kind of a Western Kentucky gem, if I had to
Yes,
say.
but a lot of trees, a lot of beautiful sight lines, and things like that. Another caption for a photo. I think this golf pass is just lazy with their captions. It just says a sunny
I,
day at the
it
golf
might
insert
be.
golf course name here. But
Yeah,
again,
that's what
I,
happens when you let the AI take over.
there have been plenty of sunny days at Boots Randolph, and definitely I agree. This is, some people might say, putting it higher than a Bowling Green Country Club or even the UK clubs might be controversial.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of character in this, and then
Yeah.
like we touched on with the music notes. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and some listeners and viewers may notice, but you're hearing a lot of state park golf courses as we're going on up the list. Uh, Unlike your municipal courses, your city courses, the state park system in Kentucky, for whatever reason, does a fantastic job on its golf courses,
They
has
do.
made a really strong commitment to being kind of that tourism boost because they want people to stay at the resorts that are at the parks. What do you want to do when you're at a resort? You want to play some golf. If I'm
That's
playing
right.
crappy golf at the resort, I don't have a good time. I don't come back, right? So a lot
Well,
of these places have Zoysia fairways or uh, Zoysia Bermuda mixed fairways that are really nice. Most of the greens, they're never going to be fast, but they're going to be pretty smooth and give you a true roll. and then the scenery of, Kentucky and its natural habitat.
Hmm.
Sometimes there's nothing better,
That's true.
depends on the time of year, but sometimes it's really good. So speaking
Couple more
of
here, John.
state park courses, number 32 is Wasiota Winds Golf Course in Pineville, another 8 out of 10. I believe this is the Pine Mountain State Park Resort golf course. At one point was ranked number 15 by Golf Digest for new golf courses in the country. Was a great track, a place with awesome views. Course was in generally good condition throughout. Another place very difficult to get out to.
Hmm.
It is quite the drive, no matter where you are, unless you're visiting the Cumberland Gap National Park, which is about 20 minutes down the road. You might not find yourself out there, but if you're willing to do a little bit of hiking, you can find a pretty good golf course.
Yeah. And I've noticed these last couple great names for golf
Hmm.
courses.
Oh
And the
yeah,
next one also falls along in those ranks.
it does.
I don't know how to say this one. I'll let you say it.
I'll say it, and I'll preface that by saying I also don't know the
Okay.
true pronunciation. I do know it is taking the name from a similar golf course in Ireland that is of
Yes.
a bit more well-known, higher esteem. But that would be excuse my pronunciation, Connemara Golf Course in Nicholasville, another 8 out of 10. Uh, Good layout, good track, a little bit simplistic in some places. Uh, Elite clubhouse. It's like this old horse farm estate or something like that.
Okay.
Great turn dog, you know,
And that's important.
it's
And
important.
this is number 31, right? So this is the last course that we're
Yeah,
discussing of this episode. And again, I think this is the right course that I pulled up pictures of.
it is. Yes.
This says this is number 18 at Connemara. And then I don't know if this is right. Does that look right? Is there a
That is so like the angle they're choosing from is not the layout of the hole.
okay?
But I believe that is number 16. It's a par three across water that is not in the frame. But that bunker is indeed
A
factual
a
from my memory.
clover,
A clover.
a
Yeah.
three-leaf clover bunker at
Hmm.
Connemara Golf Course. That's
Again,
worth
this
it on
it
its
is,
own.
and that kind of like curb or sidewalk you saw winding down the bottom of that image is the drive into the course. So it's a very beautiful drive into the
Mm.
golf course. Right outside Lexington, so easier to get to, of course. And just, I had a great time out
And that's a beautiful course, it looks like, and it's also a beautiful place to stop because we do have 30 more courses to get to, but not today, John. We're not
there. Not
getting to
today.
them just yet. But we covered right just then, or not episodes, courses 69 through 31. So
Indeed.
like I did last week, I'm gonna put the list up on the screen just so people can see it. I believe we started at Cole Park, if I'm
Indeed. Yep.
not mistaken,
Yeah, we
at
sure did.
69. And then as you can see, a little bit of a color change for people that are watching on YouTube, a
Hmm.
little bit of a color change here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. A color change from yellow, sorry, to blue. Blue are courses that John is saying go play them. These are fun.
Hmm.
These are good quality courses that you're getting your money's worth. And we worked our way all the way up. I mean, I'm telling you, you can tell that this list is getting, and I gave a little bit of a teaser there on accident,
Just a little
um,
bit.
but we won't do it. We won't go any farther up the list. But I can tell just looking at the cream of the crop there, 31 through, I'd even say 38. Those are
Hmm.
great courses, and we're still not in the top 30.
Yeah.
I want to show the map again as well. I showed it last week's episode, and I might not have described it as well as you would have. Um, the color coding you're saying, John, there are courses that you have played, haven't played,
Hmm.
yet to play.
Yeah.
Any specifics there as we look at this map?
So again, the map color palette was different from the one on the sheet. So I had to get a little bit
Yes.
creative. I am getting close to it. So if you see green, yellow, or blue or brown,
Uh-huh.
Those are courses I have played and have ranked.
And
Courses in black, I haven't played and they're private. And then the remaining red courses are ones I have yet to play.
wow, so still plenty of courses to play. And if I'm not mistaken, you told me that brown courses are brown for a reason, right?
They're brown for the you know, reminiscence of poop.
Poop.
So
Poop
they're not
courses.
not good courses. Those would be the red courses on the sheet. So
Gotcha. Well, we've already talked about all the poop courses, and we've talked about some really quality courses, and I'm excited to hear the top 30. I know people that are listening are also excited to hear, the top 30 courses in your opinion,
mhm.
in All You Need to Know's opinion. And I can't wait to get to those, but we're not doing that today. That'll be next week, the
Next
final
week.
episode
Yeah.
of our three-part series on the top 100 golf courses in Kentucky. But John, any closing statements as we wrap up? Like I said, the sandwich meat of
hmm
this three-part series.
Uh, a bit more context I could add. You guys heard a lot of 7.5, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 courses. The way I do that is I when I go to a course, I kind of have a number in my mind, just offbeat, you know. And then I get done playing, and then I go to the list, look at that number range I was thinking of, and then I ask myself, would I rather play this one or would I rather play that one? And then it weasels its way in there somehow. So a lot of ties, but this is an actual ranking of what I think is better. Just the quality and standard of golf is maybe same across courses.
I think people are itching to know what, the top 30, the top 20, the top 10, the number one course is in your opinion, and that's going to come next week. So make sure you tune in, watch on YouTube, listen to the podcast, do both, whatever you want to do. That's fine with us here at All You Need to Know. But that's going to do it for this episode. John, I will see you again soon to talk about the top 30 courses, but that's it for today. My name is Quinn Eaton.
My name is John Buchanan.
And this has been All You Need to Know.
This has been All You Need to Know. If you have a topic you would like to hear about, message us on Twitter or Facebook, or send us an email at allyouneedthenumber2know00@gmail.com. Rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. And tune in every Wednesday because here at AYN2K, we've got you covered.